Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome back to another episode of our Let's Play for Football Manager 2024 as we continue our Road to Glory run in going into our third season in the Premier League. We have survived yet again. We've got some good budgets. The board has given us some good budgets there. We'll see if we can get enough from that to really kind of feel better about, like, I don't expect it to get into the Euros this next season. I just want to feel better about being established in the Premier League. We really struggle, and it feels like we just barely skate by every season so far. If we can just feel comfortable and maybe just on the edge of the Euros, maybe not quite get into there, I would feel much better about things. So hopefully we can use the money that we got to get some people in. But let's take a look at our end of season review and see how last season was. Still a good season, still a bit rough around the edges still. All right, here we go. 2034 end of season review. We got the new arrivals. Got quite a few people coming in. Sighting of the season was Aguirre. Really? 8 goals from him. I mean, it wasn't bad, but was Aguirre even... Yeah, Aguirre was our main primary striker, to be fair, so... Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Cuevas, Jones. I like Jones. I like Jones a lot. Hopefully he continues to do some good stuff. Friday, we paid a good money for him. But board really likes that one, actually. However, we feel the transfer fee doesn't represent a good deal for the club. We are pleased to see that the minimum fee release clause is 64 mil. Yeah. I mean, if we sell him, which I don't think we will, then that would get us some money back. Everything else looks good, though. I mean, I'm happy with that we had. I like Ilwu. He didn't perform that well. But honestly, a lot of these guys are still extremely young. So there's a good chance they will get better over time. Who did they hate that we got rid of? Didn't really like the McDonald. That's fair. McClellan. Nobody else. Dance. They didn't really like the dance cell. Interesting. Remington. I mean, Remington never really jumped in and developed into what we wanted him to develop into. So, and then we got loans out. So there we go. Cool. Season results. Final spot 15th. Last season we were 12th. So. Not miles away from that. Only like, I think we were 46 points last season. We were at 40 this season. So slipped a little bit, fell a little bit, but not significantly. Obviously, average home attendance still 100%. We will be getting a new stadium here in 2 seasons, I believe, or one more season. Maybe it's the end of this next season that we'll get our new stadium. Or are we expanding the new? I forget which one it is. Top goal scorer was Aguirre with only 8 goals from your top score. We didn't get a double digits with our top goal scorer. That says a lot, for sure. FA Cup. Final position, 3rd round, blah, blah, blah. Carabao Cup. All right, cool. Let's go. Moments to remember. Biggest win was against Liverpool. That's awesome. I mean, Liverpool did struggle a bit, but we did beat them. Match to remember was against Bournemouth. And then a goal of the season came from Clemenco. Running from inside the Nottingham Forest half. The right back skins an opponent before scoring a curling shot from 21 yards. Let's go look at that one. Actually, a lot of goals in this one. We ultimately lost this game. Late. Very late. So where Nottingham Forest takes the lead. We get an immediate response to get the draw here in just a moment. Clemenco with the ball there. Gets past the dude. I mean, that's not a... Is that really the goal of the season? That wasn't really that exciting. Another one back here in just a moment. Actually, I don't even care about the last one. All right, good stuff. I mean, it was a decent goal, but not necessarily most amazing. Sponsored money went up quite a bit. Broadcast revenue down a little bit, actually. Corporate hospitality up a little bit. Competition prize money went down a little bit. We didn't make it as far as some of the stuff as we had before. Club reputation doesn't change. Commercial stuff. Song Fay #1. Really? Okay. And then Ilwu, Grant, Al Amri. Yep. Okay, I'm happy with those. And Cuevas. Okay. how we lined up. We did mostly the 4-2-4. I think we're going to be swapping to an attacking midfielder going into this next season. We're going to see how that plays out, potentially. I will say Al Amri, as a defensive midfielder, didn't really work out maybe the way we wanted him to. Player of the season, again, Aguirre. Young player of the season, Aguirre. Signing of the season, Aguirre. Goal of the season was Clemenco. We saw that one. Top goal scorer was, actually, Brett Wiley got 8 goals. Most assists, Song Fei. And then most player of the match was Friday. Highest average rating was Aguirre, 6.9. We didn't even get into the 7s. And then most passes completed was Tom Stone. Highest transfer fee received, Chai Holder, 18.4 mil. Not bad. All right, cool. Well, we're still there, guys. We are still there. Can we run this into a much better season this next year? And I sure hope so. A lot of our guys are going to continue to develop. Actually lost some social media followers. That's unfortunate. Attempt to avoid relegation. They just really want us to attempt to avoid relegation for forever. All right, that's fine. We can accept all that. Spend the original transfer budget. So they want us to spend all the money. All right, so attempt to avoid relegation. So I'd like to do this one, but I have a feeling they're going to be angry with me. Oh, actually, they're okay. We can stay up. I'm happy for that. All right, I don't think I have anything else to discuss right now. Valido, team of the week. Alrighty. We'll just apply those. I'm sure they're grumpy. They are. Of course, they always are. Worth a shot, though. Sometimes we can get it to slide through there. All right. So we need to look at the squad. The squad is... We got some work to do, right? We definitely have some work to do. Let's get a new page in my notebook. Write down some names that we're definitely going to be doing some stuff with. Is Mr. Jordan Lines here actually in our senior squad? No. We must just have it filtered. No, we don't. Oh, he was just in that lineup there. Remove from position. And actually, let me do this. Tactics. Let's just grab this squad. And that way we can just know that all the youngsters are out of there. Alrighty then. Not great. We got some guys that still have some potential. We got some guys that don't. Right? For example, definitely down here at the bottom. I think we're going to try to hold on to Al Amri. I played him out of position. I tried something. I wanted to give him a good run of it. He just didn't ever get there. So we need to figure out what's going to be better for him in the long run. Cuevas. Not sure why he never really developed. They're saying his best position is the attacking midfielder on the left. Is that why he never developed? You're really saying his best position is attacking midfielder on the left? Huh. Well, I definitely didn't play him as that. We might have to play around with that a little bit. Sunday, Friday. As much as I like him, it might be time to get rid of Sunday, Friday. Although if we're going to move Cuevas up, that's going to really leave an opening on that left-hand side. But I don't think Sunday, Friday is ever going to be the player that we need him to be. I like his name. Is that a good enough reason to keep somebody? Hurtado needs to move on. So, all right. So we're going to write down Sunday, Friday. Hurtado. We're just going to start rotating through the guys that we just don't think are going to make what we need. Rasmussen we keep. Clemenco we might keep a little bit longer. Same thing with Macha here. Ramirez though. Ramirez can go. Don't think Ramirez is going to turn into what we want. Stone we... I think we move Stone on as well. There's guys out there that we can bring into these spots. McLaughlin's never really going to be what we want either. If these guys had performed really well, I'd consider keeping them. Mwamba, I'd like to keep you. Aguin, I'd like to keep you. Valito. Now, Valito needs to stay just because he's kind of... We need a solid, just a goalkeeper just to sit back there. 6.75. Not the best rating, but considering everything else that was going on, we'll accept that. Song Fei. Song Fei can go on his merry way now. He's never going to be the player that we need him to be. Grant, I think Grant can move on. He played okay, but I think it's time to move him on. We, Friday, Aguirre, Jones, Cuevas. Wiley, I think Wiley was our best player, depending on how you look at that. 15 finishing, probably is the best finishing we have. Now we got Cuevas, who's also 15. I think if we can sell Wiley, we sell him as well. Sometimes you sell good players because they are they're playing well and we can get some good money for them. All right, well, I'm going to go away. I'm going to show some players. I'm going to reset up the tactic, probably with, again, a 4-2-3-1, and then build around that and see where that gets us. So I'll bring you guys back when we've made some progress. All right, business has been done. We're doing quite a bit of business. A few new faces, a few old faces. One of the good things about doing transfers and bringing in new people, especially new people that you know are really good, is that it tells you two things very clearly. And then again, we're talking about star ratings here, so take it with a grain of salt. But it does tell you two things. One, it tells you the players that you currently have that are good players, because based on star ratings, let's say they were 4-star players, then you bring in some good players, and they stay 4-star players. You know those are probably some pretty good players. Again, always take star ratings with a grain of salt, but average for your team, the game seems to think those guys are still good, which is awesome. It also tells you some guys that maybe aren't as good. The guys that maybe wore 3.5 star, or even had like 5-star potential, suddenly have 3.5 star potential or 3-star potential. You're like, oh, with these new players I brought in, everything kind of balanced itself back out. Maybe these guys aren't as good. So kind of helps a little bit with that. Again, we've got to take star ratings with a grain of salt, but star ratings is also, it is a piece of information. So we are going to try and use them a little bit, but it's a piece of information. As you can see, we've spent a lot of money. We started this whole transfer window with 55 mil in the actual bank account. We're down to 6.9 mil. So we spent a lot of money. Some of that money went to, I think we paid off a bunch of our debts. We still have this bank loan. I thought we paid off some debts. We do have some transfer debt here. It said we paid off some debts. Maybe we didn't pay off the bank loan after all. Some of that money went to improving training facilities, youth facilities, things like that. So, and we did get some more scouts in, things of that nature. So we were able to improve some things on the team over here just by requesting a few bits and bobs, and that worked out. And I'm not too worried about this. Obviously, as long as we're still positive, we're going to get a big chunk of money from being in the league. Not really concerned about that at all. In fact, if we go back to last August, which would have been what, May, June, July, August, something around here. I mean, we're going to get, a good 20 mil from the league. So maybe we don't end up at the end of the season quite as high as we did, but we have spent quite a bit of money. We had 60 mil transfer budget to spend, and the board challenged us to spend it all, and I spent it all. All right, let's go look at the transfers and see what we had going for us. Rasmussen is not going out, by the way, and we don't have anybody else coming other than a couple scouts potentially. So transfer history, we're going to back up a little bit here. We're going to go over here to the end of last season, because obviously I always start at the end of last season, the previous season. We don't really have anybody to speak of that has left. Yeah, there's just really nobody to speak of here. A bunch of loans went out. Guys like McLaughlin went out on loan. Wiley has gone out on loan. We're probably not going to use him. I mean, he's not bad. He's not bad, but he's just, I think we're outgrowing him a little bit. Josh Jones. Sorry. We'll talk about Josh Jones in a second. Sorry. We'll come back to him. Callum Grant went out. We sold him for 8 mil. They're saying he's worth 14.5 to 20 mil. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. He might still be a great player. We don't know. I thought he was starting to age up a little. We were age out of him a little bit. I figured getting some money for him while we could would be good. And then Tom Stone left as well. Tom Stone never looked like he was going to develop into what we wanted. Got a tiny bit of money for him. So not much going there. Transfers out net for the entire period here is 68 mil. Transfers in 75 mil. So we did go a little bit over on this, which is good. We had to spend some money, right? So guys coming in, we've had quite a few. Now you guys already saw these youngsters like Goddard here. I don't know how good Goddard's going to be. Again, he came in on a free. If he doesn't turn out to anything, who cares? Kubot here, he still looks like he might be pretty decent. We'll find out. He's actually still in my lineup. He's third on my lineup for defensive midfielders based on overall what I think his potential is going to be. We'll see if he develops into that or not. And if he doesn't, no harm, no foul. Lewis is another one. He's going to be playing on that left-hand side. He came in on a free as well. He's actually going to be our secondary on that left wing. We have actually sold our two main players that we played all of last season, Cuevas and Friday, the two guys whose names are shared with some other players who we know are good in other positions. Both of those guys are gone. Just spoiler alert. And then finally, our last free one was Denson here. Right back. He looks like he could be okay. We'll find out. We might just keep him around, let him build up, let him train up a little bit, sell him on for a little bit of money. Not really. He's not looking like he's going to be an outstanding player. Really, the only one of this group that looks like he might be outstanding still is potentially Jamie Lewis here. We'll find out. And then we finally get to our players that we're actually bringing in. I mean, there's a couple bargain players here. There's a couple we paid a little bit extra for it. As you can tell, the players that we paid that came from other teams in England, we had to pay a little bit extra for. The teams that we got from other countries, we got to get a little bit of a bargain for. So that's kind of we're going to see that happen a lot. First up, Motorsport here from Leicester. He comes in here as our starting right attacking midfielder. He comes in here 2.5-star current ability, could be as high as 5-star. He's great finishing, great first touch. We'll see what he can do over there on that right-hand side. We're going to play him ahead of Song Fei. Now, Song Fei, still not bad, and he's still technically in our team, but we think Motorsport could develop into something amazing. We're going to give him a chance to do that, and we're going to see what he can do. So, again, he comes in here from Leicester, played in the championship last year, played really well in the championship. His one season in the Premier League before that, not so great, but he's still young. He's still got some room to grow. We'll see what he can do. Some Motorsport there, really liking the way he looks. I'm okay with paying a little bit of a premium for him. Up next, another guy that we paid a premium for, Josh Jones here, attacking midfielder on the left side. He is not going to be playing for us this season. They asked for a loan back, and I was like, you know what? We've got a lot of other players. I want to try it over there. Yarosov still looks good. We've got another guy, Van Schuing. We'll get to look at him in a second. We'll go ahead and loan out Josh Jones, get him some game time in a team that he's familiar with. If he continues to develop well, then he comes in and he becomes a starter for us. If not, we'll see what happens with him. But he's looking okay. He's played for Blackburn. He's played okay. 6.8, not too bad so far this season. 6.8. If he can play at 6.8, even boiled up to a 7, I would be pretty happy with that. So he looks like he might be all right. Two guys that we're starting to get a slightly higher tier of these youngsters that I think are much more confident of building up into being great players. I would say before this level, we would say we were probably 10%, 20% of the players that we brought in are actually going to realize their full potential. Now we might even say 30, 40% of these guys at this level might actually, they're not all going to be, we're still going to be hit or miss, but we're going to get better chances, I think, of some of these guys developing into some really solid players for us long term. We then brought on Suarez here. Suarez comes in here as a backup on the right-hand side. A 3-star current ability, could be as high as 5-star. He's going to be right behind Friday. He's a good player. He's just maybe not quite as good as Friday. He looks like a solid player coming in here from Uruguay. Played well for them. We'll see what he can do for us. Again, bargain player that still looks like he could be pretty awesome for us overall. And then next up, Huber here comes in here from Austria. 2.5-star current ability, could be as high as 5-star. 16 finishing for an 18-year-old who is 6 foot tall. That is pretty good. Currently, I've got him 3rd string as a striker because we still have Aguirre and Cuevas. I could see an argument for Huber jumping over Cuevas, though. Absolutely. And we'll see where that goes for us. Cuevas currently 15 finishing, 16 dribbling, though. He's really good at that. And then Aguirre, 15 finishing. All three of these guys look like they could still be good players. We'll see if we can find some time to get some Huber and some game time and get him in there. But a really good bargain deal for him so far. Then we get into this year. Players going out. There's a couple more. Lucas Ramirez is now gone. We just didn't really feel like he was going to develop into the player we want him to be. He's really kind of capped out his abilities. So he goes back out for a very small amount of money, but that's all right. I don't think we brought him in for that much. Yeah, we brought him in for $425K a few seasons ago. So we got a little bit of profit off him. Hurtado goes out. I never really felt like Hurtado was going to be quite the player we were looking for either. Also, we brought in some other decent looking players, and we had to get rid of somebody, and I think Hurtado was a good player to get rid of. He never really made it in the Premier League. We brought him for 500K, sold him for 2.5 mil. We'll see where that goes. Anybody else of note here? A few other players out on loan. Robbie Wright, we brought in for, I believe, a free many years ago. We brought him in for free back when we were League One. And he played him a few seasons in Championship, but he never really made the step up to the Premier League. The one time we played him, yeah, okay, he got a 6.9, but I didn't really feel like he made the step up. He then went on a loan down to Yeovil in the Veteran National, played really well for them, and then we were able to sell him for 700K to Sheffield Wednesday in League One. So hopefully a good step up for him. We'll see where he goes. And I guess we won't really pay attention too much. Sean Thomas, we don't really care about him. He went out for a very minimal amount of money. Several other loans going out. Valito, our other goalkeeper from last year, he is now gone. He's out on a loan that could add up to as much as, I believe, 9 mil back in for him. So maybe break even or a little bit more. We shall see. But the reason we're getting rid of Valito is we brought in a couple other goalkeepers. We'll take a look at those in just a moment. And then look, there's a Josh Jones out on loan. I'll explain in just a moment. Sunday, Friday is gone. Like I said, one of the left backs that we did not want to keep anymore. He's out the door. He never really looked like he was going to develop, not near as much as some of these other guys that we have around us. So he is gone. And then also Cuevas, grumpy with us from the moment he showed up. Just been upset with us the entire time. I'm kind of glad to get him out the door. Didn't really get a lot of money for him, unfortunately, but technically made a little bit of profit. And again, I got a grumpy guy out the door. So that is all that. Incomings. Hamdani comes in as our first of the two goalkeepers we're going to have. He's a 3-star current ability, 4-star potential, 22-year-old. Looks like he could be halfway decent. We shall see. And then his other one, we'll show his other one real quick. Kovacevic here. He comes in as probably our primary. He's 36 years old, so he's a bit older, but goalkeepers, it's usually okay for them to be quite a bit older, right? We'll let him play as the primary. Hamdani can come in, as we can see. Kovacevic looks like he might be the better one up front. Hamdani looks like he's got some potential to grow into that. So we'll see what happens. We'll start with Kovacevic and go with Hamdani as a backup. That's the reason why we sold our other two goalkeepers. Plus, we sold those other two goalkeepers for more than we paid for these two goalkeepers. And so, therefore, we've kind of gotten, I think, a step up in a better goalkeepers, but also got some money back for our other ones. We'll find out. Fan Shuang comes in on the left, attacking midfielder on the left-hand side. He's actually going to become a starter for us above Yaroslav. Not that there's anything wrong with Yaroslav, and Yaroslav will still get plenty of game time, but this guy's got extremely good crossing, extremely good dribbling, extremely good first touch, good agility, good balance, good pace, good passing, good off the... I mean, this guy looks like he's made for this position. He looks like he could be pretty decent for us. So he comes in here, 3.3 mil, not bad at all. Rodriguez, I'm quite proud of this pickup. A lot of teams wanted Rodriguez. A lot of teams, like big teams, like Liverpool and Man City and probably Man United, probably Arsenal. All the big teams wanted Rodriguez, and we got him to come to us. 3.5-star current ability, could be as high as 5-star. Now, he doesn't play as defensive midfielder. We're going to be playing him as an attacking midfielder. So maybe, hopefully he'll develop into being as good in that spot as we need him to be. But he looks like he could be solid for us. And we're going to trust that those other big name teams who have probably much better scouts than we do know something. And so we're pretty glad to grab him. Josh Jones. A defensive midfielder. He's out on loan right now. Sheffield United wanted him back on loan. He comes in here, 2-star current ability, could be as high as 5-star potential. We'll see. We'll see if he can continue to develop with them at their team. And hopefully he'll be a guy for the future for us. You might have noticed something. We have two players named Jones. Okay, we'll just go by the first name. Oh no, they're both named Josh Jones. Okay, that's fine. Surely there's some way to distinguish them apart. Okay, let's see here. Josh Jones here. Okay, he's Welsh. Okay, that's one way to distinguish them. Let's see here. Josh Jones over here. Oh, he's Welsh. So, we got two Welsh Josh Joneses. Both of them are out on loan again, which is hilarious. One of them is a defensive midfielder, and the other one is a attacking midfielder on the right-hand side. We might have to, left-hand side. We might have to actually label their names if they both actually survive this first year of being out on loan and seeing if they continue to develop. We might have to label them based on their position played because there's no way we're going to know what their names are. I thought that was kind of funny and unintentional. I kind of did a double take and I was like, wait a minute. I thought I already signed Josh Jones. Oh, I did. It's a different one. Anyway, we then brought in Arroyo here. He's another player who a bunch of other teams wanted him big time. And we were able to convince him to come to us over them. And so that was really good. Like Aston Villa, I know for sure was one team. I want to say Liverpool went back in for them as well. So a couple of those other teams that, not as many teams as the other guy, but still some other Premier League teams wanted this guy. We convinced him to come to us, got him on a bargain, and he's actually going to be he's fourth string right now for our center backs, but hopefully he will develop up, and there's a good chance he could switch into that second place spot at any point. We'll see. We shall see. And he can play defensive midfield if we ever need him to. Lawal comes in here as a replacement for that left back side because we obviously got rid of Friday. We got rid of Cuevas. We've got Lewis over there, and then Lawal comes in here as, actually technically we're going to put him as the primary ahead of Lewis. He's got a little bit more what we think is potential over Lewis. Lewis came in as a free, so that's fine. We'll give Lawal the start here and see what he can do. And again, he comes in here from Nigeria. 5'6", very, very short, but you know what? That's all right. We'll make it work. And then finally, we've got Larby. Larby comes in here as a starting center back. He's a little bit of a gamble. I don't usually go for older players, but he's an older player that looked like he might be a pretty good deal overall. Looks like he might be a pretty solid player. 6'3". Jim and reach and heading are okay. He's driven. He looked like he might have some potential to be okay for us. He hasn't played well for Cardiff in the Skybet Championship, so that kind of doesn't bode well. But he has played, he has some game time, but again, not maybe at this level. So maybe it's a wrong move to get him to step up, but he looked good in a lot of ways, and our scouts thought they liked him. So we shall see. He's actually played really well in the World Cup, as we can see down here. 6.85 rating. African Cup of Nations, 6.93. So it's possible he can make the step up, and he's still got some potential. But it's also possible he's the type of guy that we just turn around and sell next year because he's never going to realize the potential we want for him. And again, he's a little bit older. We usually go for 19 to 20 or 18 to 20-year-olds or 21-year-olds, and he's a 22-year-old. We shall see. But I needed another center back. There weren't a lot of options as well, and so I went ahead and just grabbed him. And again, I'm trying to stay away from older players. I'm having fun with the idea of seeing if we can develop a young team that can develop into being a top-tier, world-class team for very cheap without having to go out and spend 50 mil for a known commodity. Let's go see if we can discover commodities. I don't know. I have fun with this way of playing. I'm sure there's better ways to do it, but I like it so far. All right, that's all of our team. A lot of business, as you guys can see. A lot of stuff going on. And like I said, we did spend all of our transfer budget, spend a lot of our bank account. Should still be okay. I'm not really worried about the bank account. Bank account is going to be fine. I mean, it's showing negative here, but I doubt that's actually going to be realistic. We should be able to make plenty of money just from being in the Premier League. Can we stay up in the Premier League? Well, the whatever they call the season preview here says no. In fact, I think 2,000 to 1 odds of staying up or going down or however you want to look at that. I think that's the lowest it's been in a while. I'd have to go back and look and see what it was last year. I want to say 2,000 to 1 is about the worst it's been, which is weird because I don't feel like our team has gotten worse necessarily. But again, a lot of our team has got a lot of potential to be very good. It's just whether or not it's actual, Do we have any players? What are our best players according to this? Friday and Ilwu. Actually, those are the two players that are actually on the list to be youngsters of the year in the Premier League. So that's pretty normal for there. Who's our star players? Don't we see that somewhere over here? Key player, Ilwu. Yeah, that makes sense. Hot prospect, Josh Jones. Which one? Oh, Josh Jones on the left. Okay. I'm going to have to click on that every time we see his name. I'm not going to know which one. I don't know, guys. I don't know if we're going to be able to stay up at this. At some point, I feel like we're just going to drop. I hope not. I hope we have a good team. But at some point, we're just going to drop. I will say this. I like to try to take the friendlies with a grain of salt. I don't really think about them too much. But we didn't do well in the friendlies. And even though I don't think the friendlies matter that much because we're rotating players, we're playing players that we're going to get rid of, we're playing players on trial, things like that. even though I have to take that into context. I would rather be winning all these if they're not going to matter than losing half of them. So a little bit nervous about that and what that means, but maybe I don't need to be. We shall see. Our first game is going to be against West Ham, and then we play against Man City. So I don't know what our expectations are this year. I really don't. I have zero expectations, just like I've had the last couple seasons. I'm hoping we stay up and avoid relegation again. I'm hoping we just get better, but obviously our squad still has room to grow. Let's go through the squad positionings here, though. Here's the goalkeepers. We're going to play Kovacevic first as the primary, and Hamdani will definitely get some game time, and very likely pass Kovacevic at some point. We shall see. On the left-hand side, Lawal and Lewis. They could pretty interchangeable. We're going to play Lawal first, but Lewis is right there ready to pick up. Friday Suarez on the right-hand side. I feel better about our right-hand side than our left-hand side, but we shall go with this. Center backs, we're going to play Garba and Larby as our primaries, with Mwamba and Arroyo following up right behind him. Arroyo could very quickly jump ahead of Mwamba, possibly even, probably not ahead of Larby, but he might jump ahead of Mwamba at some point. We shall see. In the defensive midfielder role, a little bit rough here, but I think we've got some decent players. Ilwu for sure, we know him. He's going to be good. Aygun still needs to develop into that spot. Kubat, he's the guy we got on a free. I don't know. More than likely, we actually probably play Macha at a Kubat. But we shall see. I'd like to give Kubat some game time just to see if he's going to pick it up a little bit. But if not, it's not the end of the world. And then attacking midfielder on the left-hand side. We already talked about this. Chuang ahead of Yaroslav. They are very interchangeable. We're going to give Chuang the nod here just to see what he can do, because I think he's got a lot of good potential. But Yaroslav is right there ready to pick that up as well. Obviously, Yaroslav could play on the right as well if we needed him to. Morera is going to take the start on the right-hand side. Luka Jones right behind him. Song Fei, who's been around for a while, he's going to hold up that third slot. I'm going to keep him in the team, though, because, it's good to have some rotational players in case people get injured. But I can see Song Fei. I don't know. We'll see what happens with him. I'm not exactly sure. In the attacking midfielder roles, we have several players that could play here. A lot of players that could play here. I've narrowed it down to this. Rodriguez is going to be our primary. Instead of playing Al Emery as a defensive midfielder, he did not like that. He did not play well last season. We're going to give him the shot as the attacking midfielder in the center. Yes, he prefers to be a striker, but we've got several other good strikers. His finishing is not as good as theirs, but he's got other intangibles that I think could make him a reasonably good attacking midfielder to help support them. So we're going to play Rodriguez first, Al Emery as our secondary, and finally as our strikers. Very likely Huber could get a secondary slot here ahead of Cuevas, but we're going to start with Aguirre. Cuevas is right behind him with Huber in third place. Again, these could be swapped around pretty easily, and it really just depends on who's playing well at any point in time, to be honest with this one. So that's our team. We've already got set up here, although I do need to make some swaps a little bit here because some people are injured. Aguirre, he is only going to be able to play 45 minutes, so Cuevas is ready to jump in as needed. We're going to have to swap both of our center backs out, unfortunately, so Mwamba does immediately get a start here, followed by Arroyo. So we're going to get to see Arroyo really quickly here. And then let me go down to the under-21s. Who do we have on the under-21s that I could bring in here? Rasmussen could come in here as a backup. I've dropped him down to the under-21 squad because I just don't think he's going to be what we're going to need long-term. But he's definitely going to obviously occasionally get some game time as people are injured or tired or whatever. All right, well, that's our team for West Ham. I'm looking forward to seeing how we get started in this. It's obviously a different formation than we were playing most of last season. We're going to try it out. I don't know, guys. I have a feeling we're going to get pretty stomped on, but I would love for these guys to just start to develop and just pick up and let's get more Ilwus. If we got more Ilwus in this squad, I mean, let's look at this, right? If we got more Ilwus, Fridays, Rodriguez, Al Amarys, I mean, if we got more guys at that level, this squad's going to become a really, really good squad overall. All right, that's a very long transfer special because we've actually got a lot more transfers than we normally do and a lot to talk about. But we're going to see how this goes. Still a very, very, very young squad. And yeah, I do appreciate you guys watching. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Thank you and goodbye. I wanted to give a special shout out to the following channel members. Thank you so much for supporting the channel.